This is my LEGO video journal entry for Friday, November 11th, 2022. Some of you observant viewers may have noticed that there wasn't a journal entry for yesterday, and that is because yesterday was officially the last very nice day here in Pennsylvania, so I used that time to get a lot of things done that needed done in the yard. Luckily today, it's absolutely miserable outside and will be for the next several days and probably the next 6 months or so. Luckily, I was able to get some work done down here in the studio, including working on my Cada tractor, and I made some really good progress on this that I just have to share with you. Just a reminder, this is ultimately what I'm working my way towards. This, of course, is the Cada Master farm tractor, 1,675 pieces. And when I left you last time, I'd put a good number of those pieces on and they were all Technic. And reporting to you now, I did a lot more Technic. And as you can see, and hopefully be able to tell, this thing is getting a lot more chonky than it was before, including having some extra motors on it and a lot of wires. And that's where things got a little dicey with this. You see all these wires and where they're all running. That's very hard to manage. And it gets especially difficult when you come forward here and they're putting new pieces on, but all of the wires have disappeared. They removed them all, I guess to make it easier for you to figure out where to put things. But when I was putting that piece on, there's wires that are running all over there, and I'm just hoping that I have them kind of hidden away to the point where I can continue building on here, because otherwise I'm gonna have to rip a whole bunch of this apart to try to get those wires in new locations, and there's just no way that you're not going to see these. Like, where are they gonna go? It's nerve-wracking, and I don't know if this is actually going to work out or not, but something did work out here, and it involves this controller. But before I show you this fully working, I gotta show you the person who saved this build. It might sound a little dramatic, but I assure you it's not. The man that left this comment saved this build and my life with writing this. This is from Mark Forrest. He said, make sure you put the one critical piece in that makes the differential the right way up, as I put it in upside down on the LEGO Land Rover Defender and the wheels went different ways. That was a whole lot of pain to correct. Good luck, Greg. Well, Mark, I need about as much luck as you can imagine, but I also needed that comment because after you left that, I came running downstairs here and I flipped back through the manual and I looked at my build, and when you know it, I had this piece on backwards. This gear right here was on this side. What I did is I got inside there with a screwdriver and pushed those pins out ever so slightly, and then I was able to pull those out of there, which made this whole thing just kind of fall out. And it was about as easy of a fix as you can imagine. I thought I'd have to rip this whole thing apart, and I was like sick to my stomach thinking that I'd have to redo all these steps, because you can see just how all of this kind of ties in with itself. And that's why you never want to make a mistake on a Technic build, because it's not like you just pop a piece off. It's like everything is just dialed in and locked into each other. And I was so thankful that I just peeled those little pins out of there. The thing fell out, I switched it around, put it in. And now I'm about to show you how that saved me, because this thing actually works. And I hope you guys don't mind, because when I hit bag B here, which is all these bag 2s, and I noticed that I was pretty much done with all the Technic stuff. This is pretty much all brick-built stuff for the most part. I thought, you know what? I should probably get the controller out and give this thing a run just to make sure that we're okay before I go to town on bags 2, 3, and 4 and clad this thing all up and then realize there's a problem. And I tested it out, and it actually works. And I do want to show you all of the functions of this as it stands right now. Even though it doesn't look like a tractor, it kind of works like one. This right here is the box on the tractor that all of the wires and motors go into. And the interesting way that they have you turn this on is there's like a lever up here that'll be up inside the tractor, and you move that back and it hits that red button down there, which turns it on. Turn this on too. You can see the back wheels are moving forward, right? Moving backwards, steering left and right, which is great. And I'll try to move this so you guys can see it. You can hear the buttons probably, but you can't see it. I'm just turning it like that. Everything else here happens on the back of the tractor and will involve this plow or whatever that instrument is that's on the back here. And I'll show you how this works, kind of using the L1, L2, R1, R2 buttons if it was a PlayStation controller. So I move that, you can see that spinning in one direction, spins the other direction. This other one's gonna be a little bit harder to see, I think. Or maybe not. See how that's going up and down? And I'm just using these buttons back here. So everything works exactly the way it should. And that is a massive relief, because I was gonna bet against myself. I was like, there's no way that this thing is actually gonna work. But there it is, actually working, and man, I am so excited. And I think I owe a lot of it to Mark just for leaving that comment, because otherwise I think I would have run into that situation where things were all kinds of messed up in the back. At the very least, I had that backwards, and his comment made me notice that. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. And like I mentioned, the Technic portion of this is pretty much done. I'm getting into the brick built part. So the worst is behind me. Like, that was probably the hardest thing that I've ever constructed. And I was gonna say in the world of Lego, but this isn't Lego, this is Cada. That's the hardest thing that I've ever built right there. So coming into this makes me feel pretty darn good, and I feel very confident that I'm just gonna kind of put everything all around what I already have here. It's already tested, which may have been fun to wait until the last second after it was all done and be like, all right guys, let's turn it on and see what happens. But I just didn't want that level of disappointment, especially after putting all the hours into this that I've already put in. And as you can see, looking down here, there's a lot more that needs to go into this. But I still say that it's gonna be worth it. And I think this is gonna be a really awesome model that we can take outside and run. As dangerous as that might be for the gears, this thing deserves a life, and that's what we're gonna give it. I wish I had more to show you where it actually looked like a tractor, but yesterday was a really busy day, and then today I spent basically the whole morning getting to this point. So I wanted to document this as a part of my Lego video journal that we are making progress, and the Technic is finally done. So I'm excited about that. Speaking of things to be excited about, Clarkman made another mock, but he didn't get a chance to show it off before he went to school, and I don't want to steal the man's thunder. You don't steal another man's mock showcase. So I'll save that for our next video where he can share that. I'll give you a little clue that it's a piece of construction equipment that he's pretty excited about being a part of our city. Like, he's already making vehicles for this. So it's going to be I guess a pretty heavily populated city in terms of vehicles. So we're going to need like a car lot, we're going to need a parking garage, we're going to need the works to accommodate all these things. So there's a lot to be excited about that. Not super excited about the level of work here on the table. Not much has happened there, unfortunately, but we're getting there. There's now an Xbox on there. Where'd that come from? But as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the weather is taking a turn outside, so I got a lot of time to be in here over the next several months working on all the things that we're doing, and I'll sure as heck be documenting it here for you and all the people that enjoy watching these little journal updates. So thank you for tuning into this, and next time you see the Cada tractor, I think we're gonna have some red on it. Look at that. I love it.